Greetings, dear friends, and welcome to the June version of the Geopolitical review. We have with us Dr. Nanda Kishore, who will guide us through the latest geopolitical developments. One of the main developments in this month, which will actually shadow all other geopolitical developments, is the talk between the president of North Korea and the president of America. Welcome to the show. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I think we'll try to understand the South Korea-North Korea conflict from the starting point itself. Can you just tell us how the Korea was divided into South Korea and North Korea?
Yeah, this is again very interesting if you look at the historical anecdotes. Since 1910, Japan has been an occupier. It was an occupier since till the Second World War, and the way they were going so dominant, that was the state of Korea as well as the state of Japan, and then Germany. These three were growing really strong at that particular point of time. To control Japan and Germany, they also had to look for other places. So when the Yalta Conference happened in an unprecedented manner, where people never thought that two countries with different ideologies, that is United States and that day Russia of Stalin, and then United Kingdom could come together and then arrive at certain conclusions to fight against Hitler and Japan, and including Italy. So they arrived at a conclusion saying that they should now move ahead and then put down these two important powers. That's what led to allowing Soviet Union or Russia to go and enter into the present-day North Korea. So once the Second World War got over, they had this particular understanding, due to which the present-day North Korea, including the capital, was occupied by Soviet Union, and the south, including Seoul, that's the capital of South Korea, was administered by the United States. It was also divided based on the ideology. It was an ideology that typically came in the North Korean part, where the communist ideology was very strong, whereas in the south it was more of democratic. So it was also based on these ideals. In 1948, both the states were called South and the North. The North was called as the DPRK, and since then they have been going on like this. And then comes the 1950, that in the form of Korean War. Now the North Korean side was the one which broke the peace and actually went for the war with South Korea, which was ably assisted by the Soviet Union. But at the same time, United States came in. There was a UN mandate also, which allowed UN command to go on, and United States took an important position with MacArthur Douglas taking over as the chief of staff and then assisting in this whole thing. But when the Korean War was also going on, it went almost closer to China, wherein China also resisted and joined. And then finally they arrived at some sort of a peace in 1953. Now this year it's going to be the 68th year of the Korean War, by the 25th of June. That's why this event is very important. It's also happening in the month of June, which is very important for North Korea at this juncture. So that's how this whole truce was happening, and there were peace negotiations which was tried by every other leader across the world. North Korea was never brought on table, though China has been supporting North Korea, Soviet Union, and then followed by Russia was also supporting North Korea, but never anything of this sort happened. Now that's a history where people, including people like Jimmy Carter, to everyone failed. Nobody has ever succeeded in bringing this man on board, or the North Korea on board, and now you see something has arrived.
Before this negotiation started or got over, both the parties called names to each other, and many good words came out. And how did the things once again? How did they think that okay, we'll have to come back to the negotiation table and continue talking? And how did the Singapore event happen?
See, it's very important to understand that it was a very rational move by the North Korean leader, because most of the people end up thinking that this man is irrational and he lives in his own fool's paradise, and it's a rogue state, as termed by other many American presidents and others. everybody thought he's extremely irrational. To me, personally, I have told this before, I continue to reiterate that he is an extremely rational leader where he pushed till the threshold, where he kept taking his nuclear arsenal, where he kept taking his nuclear program to a different level, wherein he pressurized across the spectrum, where United States even said, or Mr. Trump even said that I have the button on my table. From that scenario, he brings him to come and say that he's a good friend, we leave the past behind. So that's a very, very important landmark, because through his rationality, where he used the fear tactics, from there he's just other side of the other side of the coin, where he's telling that he will denuclearize everything. He will get rid of all the sites to everything. Now, this has happened. I don't completely deny the hands of China and many other people, but at the same time, I think the first move was by South Korea. I think to an extent where South Korea and North Korea were able to talk, and United States cannot afford to disturb that particular piece, keeping in mind the interest of South Korea itself. So this is what ultimately led both of them, where Mr. Donald Trump, who's also been accused by most of the people or the liberal people as an irrational leader, as someone who doesn't understand how the world order works, or he works in his own way, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, he's been delivering on the promises that he has done. Now, if, let's say, even half of the troops that the United States has placed in the Korean Peninsula comes back home, it's a big victory, and is going to save trillions and trillions of dollars. So that will boost his economy. So he's a businessman and a politician, and he's able to deliver. So at the end of the day, even if people abuse, he's been delivering. And this will also be one of the successes that will go into his basket, which has never been to the greatest of the presidents of the United States.
Yesterday, once the talks got over, there was a press conference by the president of US, and he started his speech telling that most of the media persons would be disappointed. What were the reasons?
See, this is exactly, I'm telling, the issue of the liberal world. This is the issue of the liberal scholars, because I still remember one of the American scholars, who is an Indian American, who said that Trump was only a consequence, he is not the cause. So they almost termed that coming of Trump to the United States as president is the end of the liberal order. Now, when things are working, which people did not anticipate, where the peace is brought and a lot of good things are happening, somewhere I think I also found this on social media to all the places, several of them wanted this to be a failure. They started writing it off much before even they met, that nothing is going to come out, this is going to be a failure and all those things. So somewhere there is some amount of typical sadistic feel in several liberal scholars across the world who wanted this to fail, so that they can call it as Trump's failure.
Because even the questions which Trump had to face after the
Absolutely.
were totally negative.
That's
Rather
right.
than praising him for whatever he has done, the questions were talking of the past, not about the future.
Exactly, but this man doesn't hesitate to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
He is fine. See, nobody would start off, let's say someone like a smart manager like Obama, who was a failure throughout as a president, I'm telling you. Mark my words, I'm telling you, he's a failure throughout his presidency. He was a good speaker, he was a manager, all those things. But at the end of the day, what you require is someone who can deliver. Whosoever it may be across the world, the leadership has to deliver first. So this man, he broke all these regularly kept precedences, like the United States president talks in a particular way or behaves in a particular way. This man broke that one. So nobody would start a press conference.
He started with $1 salary.
Yeah, several of you would be disappointed with my announcement. Right? There were 2,000 journalists across the world who had gone there. So several of them must have felt that they will have a breaking news where it will be called as a failure. Because several of them wrote saying, don't expect anything out of this one. This can be just a simple meet, just to have some sort of a peace or anything. But this man is so committed, and he would have certainly not come out in that sort of a manner if he would have not got that convincing answer from the leadership in North Korea. So I think he has made a very bold move, and he has also broken all the stereotypes. He has also got rid of a lot of things, because the other day when the letter came in, where he said that he has called off the talks, it was a huge disappointment. But look at it, in less than a month, he delivers it back. He holds the talk and he acknowledges every person who's involved. He doesn't take the credit for himself. He says all the people who are involved, including his Secretary of State, to everyone. Now, probably he's also maturing in leadership. Now, not just behaving as a businessman, he's also maturing as a politician, but he has his own trait. Now, don't compare him with Obama, with Bush, with some other person who was a liberal leader whom you admire, human rights. Don't bring all these things. If he has his own style,
He's a man of action.
accept his style. He doesn't want to copy anyone. That's how he broke. He took a humiliation from Obama in a personal dinner, and then he came into the office. So he's someone who has a great conviction. If he wants to do something, he will do. So in the domestic context, in the United States, it will have a great value. Even half of the troop goes back, according to what Trump said, that he will withdraw his forces. Out of the 28, even 15,000 goes back. All those families of the soldiers will be super happy. I think that's a good idea. It will also save his economy.
And they asked the opinion about Kim from the president. He said he's a young leader and it needs lots of courage to go for peace rather than entering into war.
Absolutely, because somewhere a lot of people have this problem when young leaders are there, they get misguided. They get misguided and they also go into that idea of valor. You want to be a great leader, you should not bow down. But I still remember in one of our local languages in Telugu, there is a say which says, not someone who knows how to hit is great, someone who knows when to bend is the great person. So probably this fellow, that's why I called him rational, because he knows when to stand up, he also knows when to, because it's in interest of his own country. Otherwise his people will starve and they go to inflation. For him, there are direct examples from Venezuela to all these places where people are picking food from dustbins. He doesn't want his country to go to that level. He knows the potential of that country, what they can become. He has immediate example of South Korea, which is becoming an economic giant. And North Korea equally has, at the end of the day, they're all one people. It's like India and Pakistan. So they're all one people and they can grow. And he wants those sanctions to be lifted. Though President has said that as of now sanctions continue and will remain, because he should not behave in aberration. That's one of the reasons why he has kept. But over a period of time, if some sort of a good behavior, I'm pretty sure to push this as an example to Iran, to push this as an example to several other countries which are in odd with the United States, he will use this as an example, that you be good to me, I'll be good.
And he has also promised security.
Absolutely, he has said that one. So once I withdraw or you withdraw nuclear arsenal or all these weapons and denuclearize and all those things, just does not mean that I will not help you out or your security is at stake or anything. What he is doing to South Korea, what he is doing to Japan, probably will also come up with a new model to help out North Korea also. That's my take at this juncture.
Kim, when he arrived to Singapore, he took an Air China flight. What was the reason for that?
See, this is very interesting, because as a leader, he also doesn't trust too many people. So the people behind him are the Chinese, in the sense that if anything goes wrong, if anybody tries out anything, the Chinese will step in. That's the idea. But it does not mean that the Chinese were solely responsible for you can say they were responsible for North Korea to come, because the heat is building up in the Asia Pacific or in the Indo-Pacific region, where United States has called Indo-Pacific Command and all those things. So they're going to have a heavy security build-up, due to which the Chinese in their own interest have pushed North Korea. But somebody actually credited this to saying that they brought Trump also. That's not true. China cannot make Trump to come. Trump comes only when he feels that he has to come. I agree that they are instrumental in bringing North Korea. But from the Chinese side, I think it's all those officials who have given probably a good advice, and they've said about the scenario, how United States at this juncture has to maintain that 15 trillion economy, where it should never come down. It has to go further, but not coming backwards. That probably has remained. So that's a reason the Chinese presence, and probably it might have been also symbolic, where the Chinese are trying to say it's my handiwork. That's very, very clear.
Yesterday there was a body language analysis going on, the body language analysis of Kim and President Trump. They say that Trump deliberately gave his hand lower, telling that okay, it's a submissive style, where Kim gave his hand from the top. Even though both of them were on the negotiating table, both of them were equal. I think Trump gave everything to Kim, telling that okay, you have come, it's a great, and I think it was a good gesture on his part.
Absolutely. See,
And both of them were equally confident.
Absolutely.
Both of them were patting backs of each other.
See,
knowing that both of them are
initial
equal.
stage, if you look in, both were grim-faced. When the first time they entered into the lobby, both were grim-faced. But I think very soon it eased out. Now that's what is important. As a leader, Trump has led from the front, where he's not trying to show off the big brother attitude that I am the boss, I can get rid of you, I can do that, I can do that, all those things. Now liberal scholars will probably say this is the complex interdependence due to which Trump has behaved. See, this has nothing to do with his body language. He himself has decided that he wants to do that. He has done that one, which should be appreciated and unbiased. And what I prefer to say is, let's not give it a political color. Let's not bring down, write an analysis saying that on how America went down in front of North Korea. I think that's probably very, very unacademic. What we need to understand is that he's showing those
Good gesture.
and also he's giving confidence to Kim, saying that just don't think that I'm abusive. Don't go by the media projection of me. See me and feel me what I am. You have directly met me. Don't go by the media. Talk to me directly and feel what I am in my presence itself. So I'm okay for all these things. So if the president is okay with that one, should be absolutely fine. I was also told that he had a chance to look at his car, which is called as the Beast, which is supposed to be the most secure vehicle in the world. He also had a chance to look at that one. So now I think there are a lot of things he broke the set stereotypes for a very, very long time. And this will go down in the history, I'm telling you, for a very long time.
Don't you think Trump also deserves a Nobel Award when Obama was given just like that?
Absolutely. If Obama, just for his utterance, somebody gave Nobel to him, just where he said that we will reduce the nuclear arsenal, which never happened till date, and he just got that one just for a speech. This man has done with action. No US president till date was successful. Every other fellow was failure. Everybody was beating their chest and calling North Korea as a rogue state. They were calling it as part of the axis of evil and all sorts of abusive language, where this man has gone there and he has delivered. And in such scenario, I think he deserves. What's wrong in that one? I think if the liberal world thinks that he has done something good to the society, he deserves one for this action itself. He deserves one where he has brought in some amount of respite between South Korea and North Korea. Let's say nothing happens between United States and North Korea. If North Korea and South Korea can come together, have some sort of confidence, and they can have a free movement and can go and meet each other and meet their families, get rid of all those regular problems that are there, that itself deserves a Nobel.
Dear friends, I think Dr. Kishore has helped us to understand in detail the whole North Korea, South Korea issue and the talks between US and North Korea. We hope the things go in the right direction and President Trump is successful. He has to be successful for the world peace. That's what I can call. And might be many people whom we call so-called liberals might feel sad. Okay, it's better that they feel sad. With this good note, we end our today's show. Thank you. Have a great day.